Welcome to eclipse season. We've got a jam-packed week going on, and my name's Desiree De Lune, your acupuncturist, herbalist, and astrologer. We're going to dive into the forecast for September 30th until October 6th, and we've got an eclipse. We have a solar eclipse in the middle of this week, and it is going to impact your relationships, your passions, your achievements, your goals. So there's a lot to unpack with this eclipse going on. And just take a look at the Libra part of your chart because that is the area we're going to be focusing on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Please make sure to like, subscribe, please, and share away. Hit that bell so that you're notified every time a new video is up. Okay. All right, so I do recommend listening through all of Monday because Monday will cover a lot of the aspects and placements for the entire week. As I say, the moon is what moves around the most. It does rule our mood and emotion, so it is nice to note, what sign the moon is in, what mood the moon is in, and what other planets are communicating with the moon. But Wednesdays are big day, so I would stick around definitely until the end of Wednesday so that you have a clear idea of what this eclipse is about and how it's going to affect you. All right, so Libra, Libra, Libra. This is the season of Libra, or even our new moon, solar eclipse, all of that is happening in Libra as well. So we have our sun in Libra, and it is cazimi with Mercury. They are next to each other. Cazimi means Mercury is cazimi with the sun, so it's the heart of the sun. That's what it translates as. And so, as you can tell, they're literally on the same degree together. Now, Libra has to do with the other. It's about our relationships. That's the theme here. It is also about our pleasure and our play and our fun. It rules beauty and the arts. So there is going to be an increased interest in beautification, whether it's of yourself or whether it's of your space or, just the way you go about and do things. Maybe you want to change up your style or just attend to your style a little bit more. But it does care about symmetry and creating harmony within a space and within oneself too, but creating harmony and within relationships. It is a very, very fair sign. It is very just. It is open to the other person's perspective and opinions. So there's a lot of kindness here. And sometimes on the shadow side of this, though, is considering the other too much, where they start to sacrifice themselves and they don't even take care of their own needs, but care about the needs of others. And especially with our moon in Virgo, that just exacerbates the need to serve others. Now, with Mercury being so close to the sun, we are going to get these powerful, like electrifying flashes of insight and wisdom. If you think about the planet of Mercury, it's the planet of communication. So you're going to get downloads, revelations, so quick, so fast, so clear. Most likely it's going to be around these themes, these Libra themes. Maybe you're going to get some revelations about the dynamic of your relationship. Now, when we talk about relationship, it's going to be any kind of relationship. Usually it is the close relationships, whether it's a love relationship, love partner, whether it's a best friend or it's somebody that you work closely with, you intimately work with them. It's just relationships in general. It's not specific only to love relationships. So all kinds of relationships. But this is probably where you're going to get a lot of clarity and understanding and that flash of insight and revelation around, something about the dynamic of your relationship and how it truly is or how it really is. So we'll talk more about that around the eclipse theme too, or around the eclipse day. Now, let's take a look at our moon. Our moon is in Virgo. It's in an earth sign, and this is an area where it also seeks balance and harmony, but it is wanting to clean things up. If something is disorganized, something's disheveled, the moon has got an itch to get it in order, get it pretty, get it functional, get it working. It's a very practical sign too. So when I see a combination of this Mercury and Virgo, and they're really going to be very helpful. There's a lot of helpfulness, a love for service and supporting others, right? But with this together, it's going to care about things being very functional and beautiful. Just one is not going to be enough. It has to both be very functional and very beautiful. So the one thing though, there is a tendency to worry with Moon in Virgo and kind of overthink and overanalyze. It's a very active mind with Moon in Virgo. And then we do have the Saturn that doesn't really help matters too. Saturn can tend to, with the Moon, tend to focus on what's wrong and magnifying that and what's not working and kind of heighten our fears and our worries and concerns about something. So be careful with this. As I've said, like things that I like to do to support the moon, if it's got some difficult aspects like this situation, like Saturn, I will look at the sign in which the moon is in, and which this is an earth sign, and Mercury rules Virgo, and Mercury rules the hands. So doing things with the hands and getting connected to the earth with the hands. So, playing around with herbs or cooking or gardening, those would be really great practices. Those aren't the only practices. Maybe like arranging your stones and crystals, but something like that where you're interacting with elements of the earth with your hands and your fingers, that can help soothe the moon out if for some reason Saturn is really bothering you here. Okay, just give you a little practical tip and idea. Okay, so let's talk about moon also is in sextile with Mars. So that's a nice conversation. These blue lines are good. And this is only going to increase our passion and our enthusiasm, whether it's in work or play. And it will help us to pursue things that we care about with more vigor and excitement. Now, we do have Venus here in Scorpio, and Venus is a calm, chill, relaxed, fun planet and playful planet in the sign of intense Scorpio. And Scorpio is very raw. It just deep dives in. It definitely does not want to do chit chat. It does not want to do small talk. So with Venus in Mars, because it isn't in its happiest place, however, this does bring a lot of like heightened sensitivity to people, to relationships. It is going to increase your intuition when it comes to relationships because Scorpio is highly intuitive. So you'll be able to read people better in this week. You're going to be able to see right through what they are saying if there is incongruence for any reason. But with this trine here, this is a nice conversation. So blue line between Venus and Mars up here at the top. This is going to really intensify your passions. It's going to intensify your pleasure. I mean, this is a time where we're going to be leaning into our pleasures. And so I'm just going to say that if you feel a little bit more excited in the bedroom, there's definitely clear indications for this, with Moon being in sextile with Mars and Venus in trine with Mars, like passion, desire, just that primal like need to satisfy our desires. That's going to be elevated. Okay. So enjoy that. If you're wondering, why do I have more energy for this? That's why. All right. So another thing I want to point out is we have a nice grand trine. I believe I talked about this in last week's forecast, but this is a big triangle. Do you see this big triangle in the middle? It's happening between Venus and Saturn, and then Saturn and Mars, and then from Mars to Venus. Okay, so it is in these water signs. All these planets are in these water signs. So the way that I see this, and this is going to be around until October 8th. And when we have trines like this, there is really good harmony and really good flow between all three of these planets. And we get to experience like the best features of all three of these planets. And what I love about this is that we have, our goals and our like desires and our needs and wants, all of that. Okay, what we're trying to set out to do, our passions too. And we have not only the energy for it, but we also have the structure for it, and we also have beauty around it. It's both a combination of heavily pursuing our passions as well as our responsibilities. So I think of this as kind of like a work hard, play hard, but not that it's bad hard. Like it's fun as we do it. It's exciting as we do it. And we want to do it diligently. We want to do it responsibly. So I like this configuration here between Mars, Venus, and Saturn. I mean, you're going to feel really turned on about that on many levels. Okay. Yes, with your partner, but really turned on to, your work and or your play. Maybe it's a little bit more focused on your play, but your play has structure and discipline and commitment around it. Or your work, like maybe you're going to bring a bit more fun and excitement into your work. Maybe you're going to beautify your work in some way. So I feel like these are really nice. It's a nice mixture of everything, because you can see that they seem opposite, but it's when the opposites work well together, and then there's balance, and then there's harmony. And that's how I see this grand trine. Okay, so that's our Monday, all right? And a lot of like that grand trine, like I said, that's going to be around until October 8th, and then we have the Sun and Mercury in Libra for a while. So, all right, let's continue on to Tuesday. So Tuesday, October 1st, it's a mixture. I would say a mixture here. It feels quite even and equal too, but we have the moon still in Virgo, so that hasn't changed. It is in square with Jupiter, and that's going to be more of a positive aspect. General feelings of well-being, just being generous and kind and compassionate. So even though it's a square, it's not really a difficult square. I mean, the only thing possibly could be just a lack of forethought and not really seeing things into the future. But we have so much practicality from the moon in Virgo that I am not concerned about this one. We also have moon that is in a nice trine with Uranus up here to the top right corner. And Uranus, this is going to bring that sudden surge of inspiration, okay, sudden insight. So intuition is heightened this week. And the fact that we're in eclipse season and now, we're about to step into a solar eclipse, I think that's really beneficial, that our spidey senses are very active and able to see into, feel into, anything that's wrong, anything that is out of place, especially when it comes to our relationships. So there's also lower inhibitions here. This is good, kind of like hey, if you feel like being impulsive, you're good to go. Being impulsive in and of itself is not a bad thing. Sometimes we kind of we demonize like certain qualities and characteristics. There is value in being impulsive too. Impulsivity can, bring about a lot of bravery and courage and breakthroughs and chart new, like ways and territories that we otherwise wouldn't. So when we have aspects like this, what helps is that Oh wow, and we even have a grand trine too. I didn't even notice that till now. But what helps when we are impulsive in this kind of environment, okay, in these kinds of energies, they end up being major breakthroughs, and they transform and change your trajectory for the better. It isn't just being rash, okay? It isn't just being irresponsible. There is a time to be impulsive. And what I also love about this arrangement, as I am noticing just now, we have a grand trine, okay, between the moon, Uranus, and Pluto, and the moon again. This is a pretty big day. This is you're going to be in tune with your psychic powers if you got any. And this kind of impulsivity is going to lead you to a breakthrough of some kind and an intense transformation of some kind. So allow it. If you feel these aspects, if you feel these planets, just allow it. Don't sit there, because the moon in Virgo could be like, that's not practical, that's not responsible, because that's how earth signs are. But everything else is saying, go for it. I know it sounds crazy. It's so like not what you would normally do or not what you would normally say, but it's just go, do it. It's the right conditions to be impulsive, because it's going to lead to a transformation. Okay, great. I hope you got that. So there may be a change up in your routine, okay? Or a random person that you meet that is like fate, and they end up being somebody significant in your life. Remember, we're in eclipse season right now, so pay attention. Pay attention. Okay, so the one thing that is a little bit challenging is this moon in opposition with Neptune, and sometimes Neptune can cloud our judgment. However, with everything else going on, with the sun and Mercury this close, and we have this grand trine, I'm going to say that is negligible. I'm not too worried about that unless you have a very pronounced Neptune in your chart, but I'm not worried about that. All right. Let's see. Let's continue on to Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday is our big day. This is the day of the solar eclipse in Libra. Now, I know things shifted a bit. As you can see, Libra was over here before, but I wanted to highlight the exact moment of this eclipse. So the chart kind of changed a little bit for Wednesday. I just have Libra up here in this sign. And look at this, right at this is Central Time. So this will be happening at 11:49 a.m., 11:49 a.m. Pacific Time, or 2:49 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay. And that will put at that exact time, put the sun and the moon in the same degree and minutes, 10 degrees, 3 minutes, exact same position. And you're not, this is not a total solar eclipse. This is an annular solar eclipse where you would see a ring. And you'll see this like upside down headphone. This is the south node. And then come down to the bottom of this chart, you'll see it looks like a headphone here in black. That's the north node of the moon. Whenever we have the sun or the moon near, okay, this one of these nodes, whether south node or north node, that means we are having an eclipse. And this south node is also in Libra, and that's why we call this a Libra solar eclipse. It is a new moon as well. When sun and moon are together like this, it's a new moon. Now, let's break down what this means. First of all, eclipses mean great endings and great beginnings. And some are going to lean more towards, the ending of something, especially if the south node is close to the sun or moon, then it's going to focus more on what we need to let go of. And when it's closer to the north node, it's what we are going to bring in that's new. Now, in this situation, we have a little bit of both because yes, the south node is letting go, but it's a new moon. It's a new moon too. Now, when we are looking at Libra, this is going to be around our relationships. And there are some relationships that it is time to let go of because it is not in support of, the north node is the direction we're moving towards. The north node is in Aries, and Aries has to do with our own personal goals, our personal desires, needs, and wants. And if there are relationships that are impeding your ability to move forward in your personal goals, okay, and what you want to achieve, then that's probably going to be the relationships that need to leave, that are going to leave. Look, eclipses are a wild card. They're not things that you can plan for really and expect. Things just change all of a sudden. So think of it that way too. Things just change all of a sudden with eclipses. You're not going to have to try to do anything. It's going to get done to you to give you an idea. Now, the thing with Libra, I talked about earlier that there is kind of a shadow side for Libra, and Libra can think about the other, bend over backwards to the other, kind of be a martyr and do so much self-sacrifice to benefit others, and then they don't benefit at all. And those are the types of relationships that this eclipse is going to cleanse away from our lives, let it leave our lives, so that you are now, new moon, inviting in the kinds of relationships that are more equitable, that are, yes, considering their needs, but also considering your needs, that the relationship is more balanced in focus and attention rather than it just swinging so much in the other direction. So that's going to be the big change here. And solar eclipses are strong. I mean, I know it's not a total, but this is only the south node is only 4 degrees away from the sun and the moon. So it's not that far away. So this is, especially when it's that close, this is going to give us an indication that it's a bit stronger. It's not intense strong, but it's strong. It's strong. I would say like medium high, because anything within 15 degrees, like if a node is 15 degrees away from the sun or the moon, then that qualifies as an eclipse. But we're only 4 degrees apart, so it's strong enough. Not only that, we have kind of a difficult planet that's aspecting all 3 of these. Let me first mention, before I talk about a difficult planet, we have Mercury 1 degree away from both the sun and the moon. So Mercury is a part of this eclipse. It's a huge part of this eclipse. And I think that's great because Mercury is going to help with that communication. We got all this great sudden insights, as I was talking about, from Monday and Tuesday. But Mercury is going to help us to have these conversations and to elegantly have these conversations. Libra is, it has finesse, it has grace, it's romantic, it's poetic. So it's very soothing. It's not as harsh as if this was happening, I would say, in Scorpio, to give you an idea. Now, it does have one harsh aspect. I would say the saving grace is that all this is in Libra, but Mars is a malefic planet, and this is in square to all 3 of these. All 3, the moon, the sun, and Mercury. You'll see these red squares going to all of them. So Mars, it is that planet the god of war, right? But what Mars does is it cuts off, it separates, it severs. So not only do we have this south node eclipse that's doing that, now we have Mars talking to all three of, the sun, the moon, and Mercury, ensuring that we cut off and sever and eliminate and separate from what is not right and aligned for us. So there's going to be a realignment of our relationships during this eclipse season. If it isn't relationships, then it's going to be around our pleasures, our fun, what we find enjoyable. There may be a rearrangement of that too, a changing of your goals and your intentions and what you want to accomplish, what you want to achieve, and how you're going to go about doing that. So that's the big theme of this eclipse, all right? There's not going to be so much like bending over backwards. For everybody else, this is more about equality now within the relationship, okay? Not like so heavily focused on serving the other. It's serving both of our needs within the relationship or within the community. Okay, so there you have it. That is our major eclipse that we're going to be dealing with. And remember, this window is happening for a couple of weeks. Now, this peaks here on this day at this time. However, anything could happen within another 2-week window. So keep that in mind that we are still under those energies. So keep an eye out and what happened, what you learned, what sudden insights that you have, what conversations you are having within your circles of relationships, and give us an idea of what's happening too. I'd love to hear. And Libra, check out what part of your chart that this is hitting, because that'll be that area of life. Like, for example, let me just give you an example that's right here on the screen. This is in the 10th house. And the 10th house is career. And let's say in this person's situation, if this was somebody's birth chart, I would say there's going to be probably some changes in the relationship dynamics or the people you work with. Okay, there's going to be some changes there, some revelations, and maybe some people will be let go. And then the 4th house, where the north node is, that's the house of family. So there could be a more heavy focus towards, goals for the family versus a heavy focus on work, if that gives you a little idea of how this works. So let us know what house that this is a part of in your chart. Where is Libra in your chart? And if you don't know how to find that out, down below we have a link for how to look up your chart, and also a link for all the houses, for which are the numbers here, and then that will tell you what area of your life that this is being impacted. Is it work? Is it your intimate partnership? Is it family? Okay, is it money? So there's 12 different aspects to our life. So let's take a look at that and then comment down below of what house Libra is in for you. Okay, let's continue on to the rest of the week. This is not going to be as long as the first half of the week. So Thursday, October 3rd, we have our sun, moon, and Mercury pretty close together in Libra. So everything I just talked about, we're still going to be feeling it. We're going to feel the echoes of that and the intensity of that on Thursday as well. And Mars is still, look at that, still square with all three of those. The one thing that is nice, though, is that the moon has a trine to Jupiter, and Jupiter brings lots of optimism and positivity and very future-oriented and good fortune, too. So you're going to experience also emotional growth. during this time and during this season. We're going to see some emotional maturity happening too. So that's it for Thursday. Friday, October 4th. Okay, that's right. It's October 4th. We do have a change. We're going to be having Sun and Mercury in Libra for a while, but our moon has now left Libra and ingressed into Scorpio. So it's entered Scorpio just right at 1 degree. And look, Scorpio is crashing waves. It's intense. So you're going to feel the intensity of this. So now we have two planets here. We have both Venus and the moon in Scorpio. So whether they're good emotions, like you're feeling great, or it's very difficult, either way, it's going to be a lot. So if you're feeling excited and optimistic, you're going to feel more of that more intensely. If you're feeling irritated or scared, you're going to feel more of that intensely. But I will say, with the moon and Venus both here in Scorpio, there's no BSing around. Like, you're going to be able to cut through anyone's nonsense, anyone's lies. Like, your level of intuition. Moon here in Scorpio is very intuitive, and it's very just sharp in its intuitive skills. I mean, Mars rules it, right? And Mars rules knives and weapons. So it just cuts through noise, and it can cut through down to the core, down to the truth of what's really going on and what's happening. So as I said, this whole week, like, our intuition is going to be so strong and on point, which I am looking forward to that aspect. We also have moon that is in square to Pluto, and Pluto, we're just gonna put salt on the wound. So your feelings are going to be very deeply felt, okay, more exposed, and there's no way that you're going to be able to control any of it. It's more of a move through it. Move through the sadness, move through the anxiety or the fear, move through the happiness and the joy. Maybe like you're so excited you can't calm down even. It's just everything's going to be amplified. So just allow whatever you need. And you know how I say one way that I like to support the moon is, what sign is it in? If it has some hard aspects, especially with this Pluto. Well, moon is now in a water sign. So running water is ideal for Scorpio, and rushing water, running water. So a shower over a bath. Okay, nice quick running water. That just a nice shower will probably calm you down if you need that. So just a little tip for you there. Okay, we also have Mercury that is over here in Libra, and it is trine Jupiter. I do love that. That's going to, again, bring that optimism, and just the way that you speak is going to be more uplifting, more empowering, and more positive in general. So that's a really nice one, and that's going to be around till October 11th. So even if you underneath feel not so great, the way you're going to speak is you're going to see the silver lining, and you're going to be more hopeful in your communication too. So that's nice. Okay, that's Friday. Let's continue on to Saturday, October 5th. Our moon is still in Scorpio. It is very close to Venus. So whatever Venus is going through, your moon's just going to amplify that. So if you are knee deep in down the rabbit hole with something, with some kind of curiosity, some kind of passion. The thing with Scorpio is a researcher, and it is investigative. I mean, it goes down deep in its layers of understanding and knowledge of anything that it touches. So your moon and your Venus and Scorpio are probably going to be kind of in an obsessive phase at this point. All right. And then we also, just to make it, stronger, we have moon and Mars in trine. So that's going to intensify the passion, the vigor, the excitement, the energy. And which is nice because Mars rules Scorpio. And so when it's in conversation with it's called its dispositor. So whatever planet rules this sign is the dispositor. So Mars is the dispositor of moon and as well as Venus. So at least like the host of this house of this sign, the host of this sign is communicating. They have good communication, which in many ways will put the moon and Venus more at ease, even though this is not their favorite placement. At least they have a good line of communication with the host. It's like if you're at an Airbnb, you want to make sure that you can communicate with the host and that they're solving any problems. I was just at an Airbnb and they didn't have any sponge, and I said, can you please bring me a sponge so I could do my dishes? And they did it, and it was not a problem. So versus someone who is, not communicative, that would be really frustrating and annoying and unsettling. Okay. All right. So there's that. We also have Moon trine Saturn. That's a nice conversation too. It's a blue line, a blue triangle. So this is going to bring actually kind of stability, even if it's intense, even though if your feelings are intense or your passions are just really like amplified on fire, there is still this centering and self-reliance too, and emotional strength that we get from Saturn here as part of this conversation. So let's see. Actually, there's a really nice grand trine all the way around. We talked about this grand trine between Venus and Saturn and Mars earlier on Monday, but now we get to throw Moon into that mix. So Moon is also interconnected with this, great level of passion and great level of commitment and dedication and structure and discipline as well. So, so Moon gets to enjoy this grand trine for just today because the Moon moves quite fast. All right, that is Saturday. Let's take a look at our final day, Sunday. Now, Sunday, we have our moon still in Scorpio, and it is in nice trine to Neptune. I have this personally in my chart, and I love this configuration because, look, the moon in Scorpio is already very intuitive. And like I said, intuition is heightened. Now we get to like triple that because Neptune is having a good conversation with the moon. So if you have any kind of psychic abilities, for example, or you have, very strong clairs of like clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance, clairsentience, that's going to just up it many, many notches with Neptune connected to the moon. Neptune is other realms. It's our spirituality. It's our imagination. It's our creativity. Talk about creativity. I mentioned last week, like it's go time, on your passions. But if you are an artist of any kind, creative genius, any kind, this is the week where that genius really pops. Okay. It's going to just be so present and so sharp, and you're going to enjoy your artistic abilities because they are going to be alive. How about that? So there's not going to be those creative blocks even this week either. All right. And then we have Moon in opposition with Uranus. This is going to bring possibly some unexpected events and uncertainty, but it may also create a need for freedom and independence. So you need to be free to do what you want to do. That's just going to be an important component throughout this week in general. And lastly, something worth noting is that the sun is in trine with Jupiter, and this is going to just add to that growth. It's actually like also in trine with Mercury. So this is going to bring a lot of positivity, even in the way that you speak. You're going to speak more hope and hope and like growth into people's lives. You are going to see the brighter side of things. You are going to see what is possible, the magic that's possible. And you're going to experience that too. I feel like this is going to be a big week of just personal development and personal growth, and making or big changes that are happening in our lives. But the way that we're handling these changes, there is so much maturity, there's so much responsibility, there's so much like our intuition is so strong too. And when intuition is strong like that, we make better decisions, and we have more certainty and confidence in the decisions that we are making as well. So even though something, eclipse may be changing things, the way that we're responding and the way that we're handling it, I'm very proud of. I feel like we're equipped to kind of roll with it. And if it's time to end some kind of unhealthy relationship, whether it's at work or it's personally, with a friend, or maybe not really a friend, or it's a partner, and we're really seeing the truth of things and that it isn't healthy, we're going to make some changes around that. So it's a growing up time. We're going to grow up, and we're going to be wise, and we're going to be mature, and we're going to handle things with grace, and be living in our integrity. So I like that a lot is going to get cleansed away in this season, in this time, out of our lives that just don't belong anymore. So that is our forecast for the week. I hope you enjoyed this. Please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell so that you are notified every time we have a new video. And down below are all the links for how to look up your chart for the 12 houses, a brief description on all those 12 houses, a free guide there. And if you would like to book a cosmic clarity consultation, that's down there as well. All right. Thank you so much. And we will see you in the next forecast.